All righty. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is March 24th. NASDAQ trading lower this morning. Near-term bearish structure remains in play. So yesterday, we have the big news move. Price bumps into near-term resistance right through here. This would be the change of character spot. Rolls over right in that area. We get the move back into 350. A little bit of a bounce from 350 back into the 500 level of interest. And then during the overnight sesh, rolls over again down into 240 level of interest. For this morning, the main area I want to focus on, main level I'm going to be focused on is the prior day low. Prior day low sits at 310. And essentially, what I'm looking to see for today is whether sellers can continue this near-term bearishness with weakness beneath the prior day low. If so, I suspect price can target, this move is already underway, but price can target the 240 level of interest and then down into the overnight low. If we end up seeing price fail to hold the overnight low as support, I will be totally hands off until either 24K is tested or we have a higher time frame reclaim of 240. And then maybe I'll look for some entries right through there near 240 with market structure. That is pretty much the game plan for this morning. Pretty straightforward. Price currently trades at 255. So it looks like we may have an open right near this level of interest, 24, 240 level of interest. In about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes to the open. As always, we're just looking for that A+ opportunity. We're not going to rush into any trades. We're not going to force any setups. We're not going to force any trades. Just going to let that opportunity come to us and execute accordingly. Win, lose, or draw. Then move on to the next trade. Very straightforward. Ninety seconds to go. NQ almost in that overnight low now. Overnight low currently at 193.5. All right, here comes the open. 30 seconds. Extended hours volume point of controls right here at 250. Make sure you double check those risk points today. Structures have been pretty wide. And there's our open. So opening print right at 254. Right near the extended hours volume point of control. You have ES currently sitting right near that overnight low as well. CL oil up 5% today, up above prior day high. Fresh highs and getting into that prior day low. There's true test of the prior day low. Good volume right off the open. And again, we're looking at that reaction to the prior day low. So far rejected. Looks like volume may have died off already. Yeah, that's below average volume already. Extended hours volume point of control shifts a little higher. Back in a prior day low. Another rejection there. Prior day low. A little more volume coming in. And almost back into 240. See if a fresh low is going to be made. Overnight low sits at 193. There's a fresh low. And overnight low just beneath. About 30 points lower. Critique 9:45 a.m. print. 9:45. I have the 10. Low impact 10 a.m. print. I don't think I saw that 9:45. Oh yeah. Okay. Flash manufacturing PMI at 9:45. And that's in about 7 minutes. Okay, okay. Price getting into that overnight low. We'll see if a spring setup materializes. I would like to see more volume come in. Below average volume. Like I was saying yesterday, this has been a market of waiting for a headline to hit with some RVol. Headline brings the RVol in. Look for an opportunity near your levels. Execute accordingly. And just move on with your day. So there's overnight low. Little uptick in volume. D-Wall, welcome back, man. Good to see you in the chat. Looks like no spring setup so far. Yep, no spring. So usually I'll throw out the order like as such. You can barely see that green line there. There it is. There's no fill. No fill. Cancel that. This point, we'll wait the 3 minutes till data. 9:45 a.m. data. See what we're looking at post data. Back in overnight low. Little retest right there. Here's the volume. That's good. That is good. We like to see that volume come in. And that's about a 70 plus point, 80 point, 1 minute candle right there. So even if that was the spring entry, most likely would just pass on that, assuming there wasn't data here in 2 minutes. It's kind of what is keeping me out right now. But if there wasn't data, I would wait for a second entry here. Which can look like basically a little bit more upside and then a retest into the overnight low, give you a little structure, tighter structure based entry. And here's the data print upcoming, less than 1 minute. So far a little test and reject of overnight low. So far ES mirroring NASDAQ this morning, a little bit worse volume in ES. All right, here's the data print, 5 seconds. Okay, there's your data. Bumping into overnight low again. 24,193. 'Data didn't even really bring any real volume in. 24,210. 24,230. Almost back into that 240 level of interest. So we'll see if we get a second entry. 'See how this shapes up through here. That does not look like a second entry. RTH volume point of control shifts lower. 177. And about 10 minutes till 10. So still a cash morning here. Wow, that bounce was a perfect test of the 50. Perfect test. Fib sell zone. Level of interest right through there as well. Volume still below average. Nasdaq back into the lows. So like I said before the bell, no real levels that I have beneath overnight low. I'll be looking for 24K, the 000. As of right now, nearest reference point is overnight low at 24,193. So staying patient here. Staying patient. There's your fresh low, new low of day. Price just sweeps the session low and back in overnight low. Let's see how overnight low is going to be treated right here. 24,193. And 6 minutes till that next data print. 10 a.m. is a low impact print. So A little rejection there so far. $15 and 30-minute. Yeah, opening 15-minute bar was bearish with a prior day low rejection, and just continuing the bearish structure. So all this down here is no man's land down into 24K. Hard time frame setup favored the Bears this morning. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Back in overnight low. So overnight low will be the main focus. It looks like post 10 a.m. Volume is below average. There's a nice little push. So again, can look for, ideally price can break this intraday structure point right through here, trade up through that area, and then maybe you'll get the entry near overnight low. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe something like this. Entry 240 is kind of one of the scenarios I'm looking for. Let's clean that up. Basically like this. Higher pullback to 240, or at the very least break this intraday structure point right there here, basically 228. I don't really love that because then it's rejecting a level of interest, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks in real time. 2 minutes till data. As of right now, this is just a cash morning. Cash morning. Cash morning. Staying patient. Letting that trade come to us, not forcing anything. Can be kind of boring, but that is the name of the game. All right, 10 seconds still data. There's a minor print, so not really expecting much. Okay, a little push there, 240. Okay, so one of the discussed scenarios potentially panning out now. Prefer cash to a forced trade with a loss. Pratik, yes, 100%. 100%. There's a volume. Okay, okay, okay. So intraday, a little change of character. You had the spring down here in no man's land as a setup, but with poor location, right? So no trade there. And now potentially little intraday change of character. Good volume, yes, sir. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep. Okay, coming back in overnight low. Volume just dies again. Missed my entry, darn. That may have been it. Missed it. But that may have been it right there. So backup plan will be same sort of structure up above 240 as discussed. Sort of two primary ideas I'm looking for at the moment. Josh a little bit lower. PJ hoping for a real test. Yeah, I wasn't after seeing that candle closure. I mean, the low of that candle's 200. Part of what we deal with as traders. Part of the decision making process. How close is close enough? Maybe missing it or it ends up being a blessing. We'll see. But I definitely tried. When you miss an entry, you don't chase. No, never chase. Never chase. Long term, you'll find that that does not pay. Not worth it. Never worth it. Never worth it. Just got to remember, there's always going to be another trade opportunity right around the corner. Exactly, Josh. In the long run, it doesn't matter. Just sit and wait for the next opportunity. Exactly. Be lazy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So just a little consolidation here, just shy of 240. Yeah, that was one of the issues I mentioned with the long versus overnight low. You're going to be bumping right into the level of interest. See if we get the real test here. See a little bit lower. And just still in that little 1 minute consolidation pattern. No volume coming in. We'll go up above 240. So breaking above that level of interest. Extended hours, volume point of control. So we'll see if that second scenario pans out now. Same entry type, just with a different level. ES looks like it's making highs on the sesh. Now your volume is coming in. ES almost into prior day low. Good volume coming in on ES. If you trade the S&P, you may want to keep an eye on that. NASDAQ, I'm watching 240. There's 245s. Again, that might be it right there. See if it fills. Volume not in it. So not that great. But I still have my level. Still got my structure. That's really what I need. See if first peel. First peel is off. That's helpful. And we'll see if we get just shy of 300 here on the second peel. And they really want to go for session high if it breaks 300 up into, what is that, 318 looks like. Yeah. Rolling over. But there's 240. Look at that volume, just below average. Well, if this gets stopped, at least I got one contract peeled off. There's the stop. So small L to start. And we'll keep an eye on this 240 area. Still like 240 area, although I would want to see more volume come in right now. Overnight low just beneath that 193. There's your overnight low. Session volume point of control 173. Volume much better in ES, although here comes some volume in NASDAQ. ES rejected prior day low. We'll see this candle closure. It's the spot for the next opportunity. Does that get in? Where am I at? Okay. There you go. So that helps. That helps. Need a clean break at 240. That's my level of interest, but I'd rather target the highs here. But that's a guaranteed 1 for 2 on the morning. See how 240 is going to be treated if it can get there. So the idea there was pretty much same as what we've been talking about. Market structure at either overnight low or 24,240. This setup, obviously much better than the previous setup because you have elevated volume, you have velocity into the level, so you got good momentum into the level. But a little faltering here. Just shy of 240. We need a clean break. And here comes the trail. All right, we'll take it. We'll take that. Probably going to still be small red on the morning. Just trading 3 micros on the lead account. And one tick away. There it is. There's the trail. So 1 for 2. Not bad. Both per plan. You'll see what's next here. At this point, I either want some action up above 240 or down into 24K. Don't really want to diddle in the middle. Intraday structure like this. Overnight low is kind of in the middle here. So don't diddle in the middle. Let me see something like this. Maybe it comes something like that. I would like something like this. Could be nice. Get the reversal down here at 24K. Big bounce from there. But at this point, no rush. Volume's below average. A little bit choppy. Having a hard time following. Not sure when to get in, if long or short. Well, this is not a signal stream. So if you're trying to follow, you should be having a hard time because the intent is not to be following. Don't follow my trades. Don't do it. Plus, there's a small delay on the stream, so just gonna get wrecked if you try and follow. Nasdaq into 24,240. So that same long idea is still in play from overnight low. Was never negated. And volume. Still telling the story here. Is this order flow? No, no order flow. No order flow at all. Just very basic technical analysis rooted in Wyckoff and some very basic volume profile. That's it. Rich. And NQ struggling with that 240. I just see some action above this level. Rejection. 240 rejection. The volume that was in ES died. Oh, not a ton to do here. How's everyone's morning? How are y'all doing? 1 for 2 on my end, small red. Still holding the long from 120. 120 didn't trade today. How'd you get a long at 120? Yesterday? Yesterday overnight? B-Link Cash, Fatigue 0 for 1. Dean 1 for 1. Rich Red 1 for 3. Jeff 0 for 1. Yeah, it's been a pretty choppy morning. Philip 140. Oh, okay, got you. Josh 1 for 1. Win for 24K or above 240. Yeah, pretty much same page here. I don't want to get involved in the middle of today's structure. Basically, price has already given me direct feedback that I need to wait. Right? One idea did not work. The other idea, for the most part, did not really show the follow through I wanted. So that's the market telling me right there, hey, do less, stay patient. In my early years, I would have an opposite reaction. The market would be giving me that feedback, and I would say, F you, market, give me my money back. Oh, be spamming the keys, spamming the button, spam the buy button. But eventually you learn, or the market just churns you out and you quit. Is it worth it to buy APT with the 50K prop firm? I wouldn't run APT with 50K prop firm. The risk calculator says that is not going to work long term. 150K account definitely can work. About 50K, basically you have you'll probably churn through a few 50K accounts, maybe pass one or two of them, and then have to trade very, very, very light size on the funded. But I would not recommend that route at all. The data just says point blank, don't do that. So we got to go by the data. Jeff, I was tempted, but kept my cool. Good, 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 good. That's good. That's progress. Josh, I only try the overnight levels once. Otherwise, I usually get chopped up. That's solid. I like that methodical approach. Setting rules around certain levels. It's a good call. Got to have systems in place. Got to have a process in place for how you approach the market. Albert, choppy action probably because we're trading between Friday and Monday's gap. Could be. Could be. I mean the market and volatility in general expand and contract. So yesterday we had a massive expansion. After an expansion move, the expectation is for contraction. So you have this big expansion move and then it compresses. So it's not all that surprising to see this, considering speaking purely about this right here. Oh, wrong screen. Sorry. There we go. Right there. Big expansion and now contraction, compression, compress, compress. So that's what I was saying earlier. Headline driven market seems like a lot of the, just kind of anecdotally from what I've observed, a lot of the best setups are aligning right after some headline, all volume comes into the market. You have a small window to execute, and then volume just dies off, and there's not a lot to do. Hawkeye with a 150K account. What are the results people are seeing in the community? Jump in. Jump in. The autopilot trader, the automation trader is open in the traders think tank. So you can jump into the traders think tank and ask people directly. But I can't speak for everyone. Jeff right above you says, been holding a single 150K eval on APT for about 2 months, halfway to passing. So that's pretty solid. Pretty solid if you ask me. I would recommend APT was built for a live account. So live account is the best way to go. It can work with props, but live account definitely best way to go. Live cash account is what I mean. S2F accounts can work straight to funded. But what I don't like about the S2F accounts is a lot of them have that just crazy buffer. crazy buffer requirement. The other thing you could do is pass an eval manually if you're concerned about speed, and then hook it up. There's a number of ways to go about it, but we'll have the targeting April for the next strategy as part of the autopilot trader setup. So essentially, if you're a current APT member, you get all the future updates. And what I like to release next, what I'm working on right now, is the spring setup, which will be uncorrelated with the current 2-hour trader framework. That is what APT is running. So you can run both, you could run one, and totally be up to the end user. And then 3.2 for the current setup is currently being tested. I'm hoping to push that this week, push that update this week. Like APT on 100K account, NQ long only has been steady, no payouts yet. And I have other instances on my 50K main prop account with one MNQ, like a little boost, solid. Yeah, being able to trade smaller quantities than 3 with the 3.1 update was pretty big. Much needed. But a lot of the questions I get around APT are like, how long until I pass this prop firm? How long until I make this much profit in the live account? It's like, how can I answer that? Totally depends on what the market presents. So that's just the reality. Can't say. All I can point to is backtested data, and we go from there. Yesterday was a monster day for APT. I think my main account did 8K, something like that. Nasdaq, another little bounce here. I mean, this is just dead. Intraday is compressing, and price is just stuck between overnight low and 24,240. We just had the fresh 30-minute bar open, a little more than 1 hour into the sesh. ES is retesting session highs, so ES definitely looking a little bit stronger this morning. Let's just check on ES here. Up near session highs. Let's check on Russell. RTY, no volume in this thing, but it's at session highs as well, reclaiming prior day low. And then let me see the Dow. So Dow is strong, up above prior day low. Okay. It's kind of the lay of the land right now. So Nasdaq is definitely the laggard of everything. Where's our extended hours volume point of control? It's right there at 256. So if this compression can break, we may get a decent directional move. Kind of where we're at. Need a break of either this spot up here or down beneath overnight low. Until then, I will remain cash with just a small red day so far. Both trade ideas per plan this morning, so that's all I can ask for. That's all I can do. Trade my plan. If I trade my plan, I know I did my job. There we go. There's a little movement, but just another reject from 240 and back into overnight low. So this is the very, very tight range that is developing here. A little too tight to be trading, if you ask me. With current volatility, I like to see, 100 points or more, and that could be a tradable range. But what is this, 50 points, 45 points? Pass on that. There's an uptick in volume, so let's see if this opens up a little bit. Give us something. We need a headline. Can we get a tweet? Let's see. Yeah, feeds are totally dry. News feeds. Exactly. Exactly, Pratik. Bring bring in a little volatility. PJ, everyone waiting for the same thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been saying. It's like very headline driven market right now. Best bet. I mean, you don't even need to watch the news feeds because you'll see it in the RVol. But just wait for that RVol to show up and see if you have a setup. Once that RVol comes in, let's see. You know what we didn't check was CL oil. Let's take a look at some oil. Looks like I have an old profile on here. Let's clear that off. Delete. Look at that last week's low holding a support. Overnight high up thrust. There's prior day high 91.87. Oil's nice to trade. I'm going to trade some oil every now and again. Anyone trade oil? NASDAQ just stuck here. Let's see higher time frames. Yeah, I mean 15-minute. So let's say do less. Opening 30-minute bar is pretty much a massive doji. So this is the 50 to 61% retracement of the move yesterday morning. Let's see just the news move. Okay. Yeah, pretty much right there. PJ, I did mess with some oil. More volatility is nice. Contract size scaling is crazy though. Yeah, definitely got to go with the micros there. MCL. More manageable than silver was. That silver action was absolutely bonkers. Even the micros, you'll find yourself in trouble very fast. See CL in the higher time frames. Yeah, it's a big range there. Okay. NQ back into 240 right now. So this tight little intraday structure continues between overnight low and the 24 240 level of interest. Hey, at least the levels are being respected, right? Jane Street posted up at 240. Oh, nice. Neff, that's solid. That's solid. Yeah, less is more. Less is more. Patience is the name of the game. You can truly make a living on just a couple of trades per day. Problem is that most traders trade like they need to retire by this afternoon. But once you have a strategy, once you can reliably, like on NASDAQ, catch, 50 points a day, even less. You don't even need 50 points a day. But once you can do it consistently, then you can scale. Scaling is not an issue in the markets. It's consistency. Can you stay consistent? That's the question. So that's why I always mention, a big turning point in my own trader development back in the options days was when I finally just said, can I even make $20 a day? Can I just see if I can make $20 a day? And that's not, you can not even barely get Chipotle with $20, right? But that's not the point. It's not about the money. It's like, can you consistently extract money from the market? And it sounds silly, but that was actually a huge turning point for me because it forced me to focus more on just consistent base hits rather than huge home run days. Might not work for everyone, but that was a big memorable part of my personal journey. and it all changed from there. Muggsy, were you working a day job at the same time? Is that part of your journey? Early on. Early on, yeah. Yeah, I'd be trading at work a little bit, or taking trades and then riding my motorcycle to work, and then seeing how the trade seeing how the trades looked once I got to the office. Oh, how silly I was. Good times. All right, look at that. Look at that. Here we go. Little uptick in volume. And can't leave the structure. Back into 240. Moto Plus position rich, yeah. Those were wild. I mean, it's like I don't even know if I would call what I was doing in those early years trading, because there was no process really. There was no edge. I mean, I was putting positions on, but it would be closer to rolling the dice. But that was part of the journey with options. So I'd like to see price hold above 240 now. That would be a notable development as we get into almost 11 a.m., 10 to 11. Still just with two trades this morning. Small red on the day. So nothing burger. Nothing burger morning so far. Uneventful. And volume just dies right off again, and price is right back into the structure. So sideways range and pretty choppy, right? Price continues to just say do less. There's no edge in this, at least for my style of trading. Back in overnight low. a straight ping pong here. Look at that. Look at that. Nasdaq into prior day low. So new high of date. Okay. We got some headlines hitting about the Strait of Hormuz. Nasdaq just shy of 350 level of interest. Let's see if an actual entry materializes. And so far, just an upthrust of the session high. ES perfectly filled the overnight gap and rejected. That was the highest volume of the session, though, for NASDAQ. So we got the headlines, we got the RVOL. We need an entry. There's prior day low. Need some structure. Need some structure here. Looks like that was probably the FBZ entry. That was that pullback. So another rejection at prior day low. When you go live with ETF, do you have to go on YouTube? What? I'm not sure what you're asking. I would not. If that's a question about ETF, the prop firm, I would not touch that prop firm with a 10-foot pole. So NQ prior day low stays as the focus. We have really good volume still. Show me an entry. Okay, back up above prior day low. These are some fast markets. Very easy to get FOMO with this sort of action. You just gotta keep your cool, wait for the actual entry. Don't do anything that you are going to later regret. Or at the beck and call of headlines. Yeah, there's very much a headline driven market. It's like I've been saying, it's basically wait for the headline, and then if volume follows, see if you have an entry shortly after that. Mm, I want to see something a little cleaner here. SC, make a real. What was thinking of joining? Which would you recommend? There are a lot of better options than ETF. Start with Tradeify. Start with Lucid. Start with Top Step. Like ETF should not be our first choice. It's like that's the bottom of the barrel. Save your money. It's going to be a headache. It's pretty much guaranteed to be a headache at ETF. Basically, with any of those B tier firms, the only reason to go with them is if you've already maximized all of the top tier firms and you're just looking for any additional leverage that you can get in the prop model. Doesn't matter how cheap their accounts are, you're going to pay for it on the back end with time wasted and frustration. Okay, NASDAQ right back into the structure. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. This is something, huh? Okay, overnight low. Overnight low. I'm hoping everyone is staying safe right now. I mean, personally, I've not touched it. Have not touched it. Still just have my two trades from earlier. Did not see an entry near the prior day low that I could utilize. And clearly headlines are still flying here. So careful. Careful. Back in a prior day low. Do you show your entries real time somewhere else? Both entries today were shown in real time. So how much more real time do you want? Well, what else can I do for you? You want to come into my office and sit next to me? What else can I do? There's prior day low being retested, and I like to see action above prior day low, like I've been saying. Look at ES. See this kind of uh no, not really. Thought that was a better setup there near prior day low. Well, this is kind of what I like to see. Break above, retest level, and then go for highs. So yesterday we talked about how this market shows big volatility, but it goes nowhere. Same thing. Same thing so far today, right? We've got some big whipsaw, 150-point whipsaw, but directionally it's still sideways. It has gone nowhere. Matt, this is one of those days I'm glad to have Bookmap. Is that helping out this morning? Look at the 5 minute. Look at that five. Looks silly. So price kind of just bumping up against prior day low. If we can see some acceptance above prior day low and then a retest prior day low that holds that as support, which would form some market structure via a higher low, that could be a potential entry. But notice how volume just already died back down. So this is pretty much what I've been saying. And I imagine we're going to continue to see this theme where the headlines come in, you get some big RVOL, big volume hits the market. If you can find an entry that aligns with, your strategy, your setups, when that volume is hitting, amazing. If not, this is a market to be doing less. All right, SC, take care, man. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, it might honestly just be time to call it. Pratik might be joining you there. So 2 trades so far on the day. 1 for 2. One stop to start the morning, and then just a small scalp. Technically, that idea versus the overnight low, boy, it's choppy, but it did show that continuation higher. And no trades in the volatility here, at least not yet. When the market is flying like this, the main thing that I can suggest is try and stay focused on your game plan. Don't force anything. Don't try and scramble to read the headlines and roll the dice and chase the momentum one way or another. Just focus on what your game plan was. All right, Ethan, take care, man. And volume just dies right back down there below average. So yeah, I think that's as good a time of any to just call it right through here. I'm going to be focusing on a prior day low, 24,308.5 stays as the main focus level for late morning. But so far, even with the volatility, there's a choppy session, very choppy session. So stay patient, stay disciplined, don't force anything. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank this morning. Thank you guys for your time. We'll be live tomorrow morning, of course, and I will see you then. Take care.